Hello again. Welcome to a training video of the Browse feature in PayPak Professional 4.0 and other GreyNote software products. This feature is used to search, display, and select records and transactions. They can also be exported to Excel or XML documents. So let's sign in and show you how it works. I'm going to start by opening the accounts screen, which will have a number of different accounts in there. And this is the browse icon, the little magnifying glass. I click on it and it opens the browse window. It starts with a blank search screen, and that works in two ways. If you are looking for something specific like wages, you can press that and it brings up all the accounts with a matching description or any of the field which matches that filter that you've put in there in the search. If you want to see all the records, just leave it blank and press the enter key like that, and you've got 19 records in the list. So let's do that again. I write wages, press enter, it's got 3 of 3. And if I leave it blank and press enter, we've got 19 of 19. The top of the screen here displays the type of record you're looking at. Over here in the count section, it says 19 of 19. Now this screen has a filter option. So if you filter it and only say 5 records were displayed of the 19, it would then say records 5 of 19, right? The next section is a drag and drop section over here, and we will come back to that later. It's a very useful feature of the software. These are the records, and to select a record, I just double click on it. So if I want cash, double click. Here comes it displays the cash record in the accounts. If I want NS expense, I double click there. If I want salaries, I just double click on salaries. Notice that the browse window remains open after you select a record. So if you have it maximized and you display a record, you need to resize it so that you can then go to the record that you displayed. You can make your changes, save it, update it, delete it if necessary, and then you come back to the browse screen and choose your next record, the next record that you want to work with. Another way of selecting a record is to highlight the row and click on the select button here. Highlight the row, click on select. Highlight the row, click on select. Right, and that does the same thing as double clicking directly on the record which you wish to access. These columns can be dragged and rearranged in any order that you wish. So for example, if I prefer to see my description over here as the first column, I just drag it in front of the ID. There's also a group column on the right, and I can also drag that over between description and ID. And you can do this for any of the records. Now, I'm looking at accounts, and these are the columns that make up the accounts record. If I was looking at pay rates or employees or categories, I may see a different set of columns because those records have their own set. Each set of each set of records in a database will have its own columns. Okay, now I can open a second window by clicking on the browse icon, and that second window could have a different set of search options. So I can select from window number 1, or I could select from window number 2. I could, for example, be looking at, if it was cars, for example, I could have a window here looking at vehicles, and I could be searching for all the cars that are red in this browse window, and in this other browse window I could be looking for all of the vehicles that are registered in a particular year. Okay, and I can look at them individually and select them individually using whichever window I prefer. You can open 1, 2, or more browse windows depending on what your needs are. So I'm going to close the account screen now, and notice that when I close the accounts window, it will close any open browse windows as well. I can also open 2 different types of records at the same time and browse them. So if I open accounts and I open pay rates, let's put the pay rates over here, move the accounts up a little bit, and I'm going to browse the accounts. These are my records there, 19 accounts, and I can browse the pay rates. Move this down a bit, and we've got 13 pay rates. I can select regular, salary, triple time. I can edit my record and make my changes if I need to. I would save the record, and then I would come back to whichever record I next need to access. Now, let's close the pay rates window and concentrate on the accounts for the time being. Right? So that closes the pay rates window and the browse window for the pay rates. These columns can be sorted, and if I click on the header of the ID column, you'll see a little arrow, and that indicates that these records are sorted in ascending order. If I click again, it will now sort them in descending order. Let's just pull this down so we can get a full view of everything. Good. And I can sort in any column, so I can do that for the description. There's descending. There's ascending. I can also do it for the group. It wouldn't matter in this case because all the groups are 1. Now, one of the more powerful features of the browse window is the filter option. And you'll notice this little filter icon here. And it looks like a little funnel. If I click on it, it brings up the filter screen, and I can select specific records from this list. So if I turned everything off, I could now come down here and I can select wages cooks, wages delivery, and wages sales. And when I click OK, these are my 3 filtered records displayed. You'll notice 2 things. At the top of the screen, it now says records 3 of 19. Once these numbers are different, when you see this number of records being lower than that number there, that indicates that the records on display are filtered. And secondly, if you look at the column headers, you'll see there's a little asterisk. There's an asterisk after the description, which indicates that that is the column where the records are filtered. And I can display the particular one that I want just from this list of filtered records, just as before. To clear the filters, there are 2 options. You could click on the icon, and there's a little section here that says clear filter, and that would clear them. You could also click on this button here. Now the difference between the 2 is this. This clear button clears all the filters because you can filter on 2 columns. And let's say I wanted to filter by description and also by ID. I can click here and I can put maybe let's say an A in there. I tell that OK. So now I've still got 3 records, but there are 2 filters applied. If I wanted to clear this filter, I could click on the icon. When I say clear filter, it's only filtered on 1 column. Whereby if I had clicked on, let's just put another filter in there again. Let's put an A and just tell it OK. Whereas if I clicked on the button, it clears all of the records at the same time. It clears all the filters at the same time. Now, the filter also has a match option. Let's come back here. Now you see this little arrow here where it says text filter. If I click on that, instead of specific records, it allows me to search condition and put criteria in. And I can say, for example, contains. And if I put in the word PAY, I tell it OK, it brings up anything which includes PAY either in the ID or in the, well, in the description in this case. That's what we filtered on. So if I click here, there's also an OR option, and I can use the AND and the OR again. So it could be that we are looking for matching records where it contains the word pay, or it contains, or it does not contain. As I say, it does not contain, and I could put a K in there, and I can put an A in here. So this would give me anything which contains an A. I'll say AND in this case. Sorry, or does not contain a K. So I hit let's try the AND, tell it OK, and this is my list. Now I know that I have an account called Wages Cooks, and that is excluded from the filter because although it contains an A, it does not contain it contains a K, and the K is excluded. So if I came back here and I say or does not contain a K, the Wages Cooks will now come up because it's part of the OR. It's excluded because it would be excluded because it does not contain a K, but it's included because it contains an A. And our filter did say OR as opposed to AND. If it said AND, it's excluded. Okay. Now, we can clear the filters. So just hit clear there. Now this browse has a very powerful drag and drop feature, and it's best that I show you that from a screen which has more than just a few records which the accounts has. A good example would be the employees. So let's close the account screen. We open the employees. This is the employee screen here. You can see there's lots of information in there. And if I browse here, the window comes up. I hit display just like before, and I can double click to select a record as we did with the account screen. If I bring up Maria Garcia, there she is, nice smile. And I'll just maximize the screen now and show you some of the filter options. Now, if I want for the drag and drop options, there's a column here called job title. If I hold this column and drag it up in the drag and drop area, the records are now grouped by job title. So if I click here, I can see who the cooks are. If I click on the job title for cook, this tells me that there's 6 cooks. If I click on that, I can see who the cooks are here. Close it back up by clicking on it. So we've got 1 accountant, 6 cooks, 12 delivery persons, 1 manager, 3 office clerks, 12 salespersons, and 5 supervisors. I can also filter by gender. I can hold this column here and drag it up and release it, and now my display changes. And when I open, for example, the salespersons, I can see that there are 7 female and 5 male. These are the 5 males here, and these are the 7 females here. So it's a very powerful feature for sorting and searching and selecting the record that you want. Now, if I close the job title filter with the X here. And notice I can also, there's also an arrow here, so I can change the order, ascending or descending, for either the gender or the job title. But if I close the job title, the records are now grouped by gender in ascending order. I can also do it descending, male, female, as opposed to female, male. And again, if I open the males, you've got the list of the male employees here. And if I open the female, that's the list of the female employees there. If I close the drag and drop option, it reverts back to displaying all of the records for me. Now at the bottom of the screen, let's just resize this a bit. Good. At the bottom of the screen, there are the buttons, and let's just go through them. We went through, we've shown you the select button before. We've shown you the clear filter. There's a refresh button which will refresh your records because maybe someone else on your network or accessing the same database may have added some records or changed some records or deleted some records since you opened the browser, and refresh will update your display for you. There's an Excel button which will export the records to an Excel spreadsheet. There's an XML button which will export the selected records to an XML document. There's the video button which will allow you to see actually the same video that you're watching now from within the program. Click on the video button and you access the YouTube video directly from the screen. And finally, there's the exit button to close it. So that has been a display of the browse feature in PayPak Professional 4.0 and other Greynote software products. I hope you found this video to be useful and helpful to you. And if you have any questions, please contact us and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much for your time, and see you for the next video.